Hey guys, welcome back to Link to the Fire Within and to God. Alright guys, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what's been in your past, it doesn't matter what you've been doing, it doesn't matter what you believe, what you have been learned to believe, right? At this point in your life, you got this message that you have the power, right? You got the power to change anything in your life. Doesn't matter what the past is and what it is, you can rebuild it, but with God. That's it. If you don't, things is gonna be worse for you. Because remember, God created everything. It doesn't matter how much money you got, how much wealth you get, or how whatever you accumulate in your life. All right, God owns it all. If you don't understand that, I don't know what to tell you, right? It doesn't matter you're a millionaire, you're a billionaire, whatever it is. You know what? This, in perfect life, that, He wants you to, plan, to build, to prosper, to multiply. But if you don't want to multiply, you don't want to build. You think, holding money and hold the asset you have is gonna stop you from what is coming, right? Now, what is coming, it could be bad or it could be better. But then it depends on, the how you react to things and what action you're going to need to take, right? Because if you have more resort, you can help the people. That's it. There's no if but nothing of that. You can help build humanity, or you can have all the resort and you don't want to help build is because you think that you're going to lose the your status or your power, all kind of stuff that you have, which is that it's not going to last long anyway. So you think you can hold on to that, then it's not going to last long for you anyway, regardless, right? But you can build, but you can use that, your wealth, your status, or whatever, like you can build and help humanity, and that's what God wants if it's a positive direction that you go to help humanity. Now, you want to hold on to that wealth, and you don't want to help humanity and stuff like that, and you let humanity crumble because you got all the resort and you can't help humanity. Then what happened? Kingdom fall, right? Empire fall in the past. If you don't learn that, most of them are greedy. Most of them are when it came to, they all think negative. They think they can hold on to their power, even to the, instead of building and help their people. Instead of that, they hold on to their power and they think they can lock people out. They shut the key, all kind of stuff like that, and think they lock people out of the kingdom. They can't. God's been creating this way for a long thousand years, right? The people is gonna rise. The people will, all right. When they hungry, when they starving, and they'll look up, right? And you have it, and you share it. At least trying to help. At least if you help, then you can be prosperous. You can live with the people, right? But if you don't, the people is gonna become vicious. They're gonna become. They're gonna be, because they're hungry and they need survival. The same thing as you survive, right? And if you don't share, you're all brother and sister. You don't share, at least you build something so they can, they can do something and they can feed their family. They're fine with that. The thing is that that if you think that you can block yourself up in your kingdom, or build something, and you build something out of space, you can escape. Maybe you can escape, right? But you cannot escape humanity in this world, right? You cannot build nothing that will sustain you from the people, going through it. The people gonna make things happen, right? It doesn't matter, how deep or how far you be on, as long as you're on earth, the people will find you, right? And that's how it works, whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? If people survive, they will find you, right? That's humanity. Humanity is, it's a survival, right? Humanity survive, and when they get together, they become really powerful, right? They become powerful. But a lot of time, what we see is that people get together with the wrong idea. When they come along with a wrong idea, and to conquer all kind of stuff like that, they're gonna fall. Regardless, they're gonna fall. Now, they come an idea to help people that will prosper. That's the way God created, whether you like it or not. Reason you most people become rich is because they become a product to help the people. That's why they become prosper. Once they become prosper, what happens? They start becoming greedy, right? They start becoming greedy where they limit the human growth because they think that the only way they make money is that what they've been doing. So what happened that they want to shut everything down, around them to the way they know competition, and that's their downfall. Instead of looking at the invention and adapt the invention and have the invention to help the people, and that's when they prosper, and that's when they create a new world, right? But a lot of these rich people, a lot of people have that, a lot of resort and stuff like that. They become control. So once you control people, you know, and they cannot grow, and that's when you got problem, right? You gotta. We as human, we progress, we move forward, we build, we do things, right? If we don't do that, what happened? We'll fall on like a limited amount of of people that have all the resorts and they control. And you cannot control people, right? Most of the thing that you gotta understand, you cannot control people. You can help people, but you cannot control them, right? Like a family, right? The parent, cannot control the kid. When the kid grow up, they do their own thing, right? You cannot control the kid. If you control your kid, it's gonna be, not a good family, right? Because you got to teach your kid and let their kid make that decision, right? And you cannot baby your kid over and over again because if you baby your kid over and over again, they cannot learn. At least you can teach them, but they still have to make their own decision, their own choice, right? The same thing here, right? As you rich from have a resort, if you don't help build and you're gonna control, that's your downfall, right? If you don't help people build and make people prosper, then you cannot be prosper, right? Just look at any company, into the have been in the past. They help the people, they help the humanity, and that's why they're able to, to get prosper and stuff like that. And a lot of people today, you got a mindset where you don't build nothing. You don't, you just consuming, right? And it's like in the Western side, it seems like we all come with all these service, right? Service, service this, service your mind, all kind of stuff that there's no product produced. There's no product produced. There's nothing to produce. Service, you can serve people enough, right? And and service like it's look like more like a scam thing, right? You just talk, and nothing produced, and you take people money, right? That's what service is all about, right? You don't produce nothing. You just talk. You use paper, and steal people money and stuff like that, right? And you're not producing any products, right? Think about it, if we don't need product, if we don't use product, we don't make product, what happened? We have nothing, right? Human being, we need products to, that's all of evolution. We need tools to help us, right? If we don't have product or tool, what happened? We become, relevant, and if we don't have resources to feed our family, to survive and stuff, what happened? We become like animal, and the animal, what happened to the animal? They start like hurting each other, right? Is that what we want? So, if you rich, have a lot of money, you gotta rethink yourself. Don't just try to hide because God won't allow that, right? So you gotta take that resource and look at new technology and look at new idea and build to help the people, right? To help the people. That's it. That's how humanity is gonna progress further, and how you can prosper and how you can multiply your own family. If you don't, you're doomed, right? And it happened before, a whole bunch of time. So if you don't learn, what I tell you, well, guys, you want to change your life, right? Follow God, Jesus Christ, personal life in your individual. You gotta follow God, Jesus Christ, and follow the commandment. That will change your life, right? All right, guys, have a good day. Bye bye.